So it's another day and another video, and as you saw in the title, it's gonna be a bit different. Yes, I'm gonna be doing a reaction. Yeah, I almost never do these. And it's gonna be about a very specific video because it's Broly related, and at this point, my channel could just be called Azurite Broly because it's just Broly's everywhere. It's just Broly. This is a Broly channel. I do Legends, no, it's a Broly channel. And the video is called Why the Original Broly is Legendary and the First Movie is a Masterpiece by Saiyan Scholar. So if you haven't saw this video, I'm going to link everything in the description and in the comments below for you guys to check it out after this video because I'm going to be pausing this video a lot, just so you guys know, because I also will be giving my take on if I agree, if I disagree. Spoiler alert, I do agree with a lot of these, and that's why I wanted to do a reaction, because it's very rare that I find someone with a similar opinion as me in regards to Broly. So enough of this, let's begin. Also, I got this new pair of headphones, really cool. $10, my cheap ass is really happy. Okay, let's start the video.
Broly is a unique character. The idea of Super Saiyan was passed down as this legendary form generations ago that many characters and writers had managed to humiliate as the story went on. Goku obtained the golden haired Super Saiyan, yes, as golden represents certain gods and mythologies. Super Saiyan was not about training, it was a light in their darkest hour back then. However, Super Saiyan began to get watered down and was defeated by human science. Despite how tarnished the Super Saiyan legend had been up until that point, you cannot deny Broly brought out everything that originally was great about the Super Saiyan in the past and injected steroids into that legend, followed by dressing up that legend in all of the treasure from Aladdin's Cave of Wonders. The legendary Super Saiyan form only possessed by Broly broke all of the restrictions of the Super Saiyan forms up until that point, where the movie was placed in the Dragon Ball Z timeline. It brought prestige back to the Super Saiyan, making it feel unbeatable once again. It towered over all other Super Saiyans, until plot made Goku, with the help of everyone's power, finally beat him with the infamous punch. As a character, there is a lot of love
and if I'm being honest about that, some people will disagree with me about this, but I'm not the biggest fan of the ending of the first movie. I think that Broly shouldn't have been beaten in the end, I think, or he should have been injured by Goku to the point that he couldn't move and got hit by the Comet Komori, or just, I don't know, like, I've also heard people say that Broly shouldn't have even died and Goku should be the one dying. So I heard so many things and theories, but I don't think, like, the ending was that great in my opinion. It just, I don't know, it just felt off, because like Broly's supposed to be like a very Super Saiyan, like the strongest of all, and then he just gets one punched. Like, that's the wrong anime, by the way. It's just me, I just don't really like the ending that much. And it makes even less sense when you just put second coming, like, Broly technically exploded, but he goes into a pod. I mean, the whole movie doesn't make any sense. Even the beginning, like, how does Paragus know Vegeta's on Earth? Does he have, like, spies on Earth? Like, so many questions, so little answers.
A lot of hate for Broly, and I feel a lot of the hate comes from the misunderstanding of his character, as well as being bombarded with the constant Kakarot memes and background story jokes throughout the years that weren't even present in the first movie, Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan, but they only spawned in the second movie. And today, I want to bring the prestige back to Broly, which his character rightfully deserves, and you'll find out why Broly is and always will be not just the legendary Super Saiyan, but Dragon Ball's legendary character forever and always. Here is the first part of why Broly is legendary, and why his character from the first movie is royalty in the Dragon Ball universe. Broly is legendary in terms of his...
Okay. I wanted for him to stop in a second there. This is something that I really loved about this video in specific. The fact that they just decided to be like, Second Coming, trash. Joking, like... No, but that the majority of the problems actually spawned on the Second Coming, because the first movie, Broly crying. We are crying because of that story. Goku crying made Broly trigger. I don't think that's the case. I legit think that Broly associated Kakarot's crying with the misery and everything that happened afterwards, or he thinks or sees that Goku managed to survive even though he's a low-class peasant. You know, like, I think it has to do with something like that, not just the sheer child crying. I don't think that's it, because outside the time, like, Broly is at a bigger, higher level than Goku, but Goku, who has lower level, made Broly cry. Like, how can a insignificant dweeb made the biggest legendary Super Saiyan cry? Like, that's already, like, very, really interesting. I don't know, I think that the backstory is pretty interesting, but it was, like, really misinterpreted. And I think it probably should have made you should have tried to make it better and more understandable, because there's a lot of interpretation. Like, some people make, haha, okay, really, Broly got angry because Goku cried? Oh, wow, great story. Well, I have a different interpretation. I don't think it was the crying. But as Second Coming decides to barge in with his stupid ass and be like, oh, no. All your theories are gone. Zero. He is angry because Goku cried. And then in the first movie, you can argue, oh, but Broly said Kakarot several times when he was angry. Yeah, in his base form. Alright, in his base form. When he transforms into Legendary Super Saiyan, you can count with your fingers how many times he says Kakarot. And the majority of time, it's literally to address Goku or anything related to Goku, it being Gohan or whatever, you know. He has a reason to be calling Kakarot. He's like, I'm just calling my friend, yo. Even though Goku's not Broly's friend, but you get what I mean. Like, it makes sense for him to address Kakarot as Kakarot, but the whole screaming Kakarot is Second Coming base, like, and even in Second Coming, they could have kept the Kakarot thing in the base form, but when he transformed to Legendary Super Saiyan, he shouldn't kept his base form personality. He should have become Legendary Super Saiyan. Even in the movie, they kind of fucked that up, like, you know, that's why I personally really don't like Second Coming, and I consider Broly to be better than Second Coming in some aspects, because at least the beginning is really interesting. Hercule, Android 18, really fun. Gotenks and Trunks. Goten and Trunks. Did it even go Gotenks? I don't remember. Even that is like, it's interesting, it's cool, you know, it's a bit different. Second Coming is also really cool with Gohan and everything, but like, that's about it. Like, both movies are like, the first movie is actually really good. I feel like the first movie, it really made Broly really interesting. But, you know, that's just me. Let's continue.
And although his background story isn't peak fiction, it's not as bad as some made out over the years. I'll do a whole other video on Broly's connection to Kakarot. Like I said, I'm only referring to the first Broly movie as I want to maintain that royalty of Broly's legacy as much as possible before we get onto the jokes. Now, Broly may be a Saiyan genetically, but with a twist. At birth, his legendary power level was 10,000, already hinting at the untapped potential if one were to train properly. The Saiyans were all hypocrites, especially King Vegeta, in that normally Saiyan babies were praised on their high power levels at birth to gauge what rank of Saiyan they will be. However, for Broly, he was not praised. Having what every Saiyan, including King Vegeta, thought he wanted, they actually feared Broly, thus turning on him, disposing of him, tried to murder him. His destiny denied. And what you should realize is that Broly was never born evil. He even saved his own father's life. Broly is the embodiment of destiny taken away because of jealousy and fear, losing everything at birth before he even had a chance. Throughout the movie, we hear the stories of galaxies being destroyed, and the build up to Broly is done well. We get to see this seemingly empty being who appears oddly suppressed of emotion. The moment we see Broly start to become who he is meant to be is when in the presence of Kakarot. Broly's first somewhat transformed state appeared with different hair color, with what appeared blue or purple depending on how you look at it. This form was just the tip of the iceberg, a glimpse of what was being suppressed, and even this looked and felt godlike. Was nothing like we ever seen before, but was nothing to what was really about to show itself.
Okay, before he moves on, he referred to Destiny. There is on Twitter a thread about like someone who gave their take on the first Broly movie, and they did spoke about like Broly and Goku being the same but also extremely the opposites. Like, both were discarded by the Saiyans. Broly for having a big power level and Goku for having almost to none. And the fact that they both like live their lives separately, it's just like, it's like that destiny thing. Like, Broly was supposed to be the one winning everything. He was supposed to, you know, he was the strongest and Goku was the weakest. So therefore, in a way, like, Goku should have gotten what he did, and Broly, it's just, so complicated to put it into words, especially in English, because I'm not native in English. But I don't know, it's just they're kind of in together. Like, in a way, Broly should have had what Goku had, you know? Goku was destined to find Broly. Broly was destined to fight Goku. They were both destined to collab. They were destined to die. Even though one is stronger, one is weaker. But like Goku got the better chance at life, while Broly, he got manipulated by Paragas. You know, like, I don't know, it's just like they are complete opposites. And yet so similar to one another in so many parts.
The legendary Super Saiyan, no more restraints, the combination of betrayal by his own race and the control his father Paragas had over him his whole life. It all gave birth to hatred with no bounds. A being that was fully aware, where in the previous state he showed subtle hints for a lust of destruction, but now Broly the legendary Super Saiyan personified destruction. He's been a victim all of his life, and this was the result. Anger, hatred, suffering, to the point where all of his pain made him appear and act evil. Broly wasn't just this way because of the legendary Super Saiyan transformation, it was also forged, maintained and amplified by his past, as well as being in the presence of Kakarot. Even going out of his way to inflict extended torture upon everybody. Even though it's not right, Broly's destruction is somewhat justified by his past, and the true lack of love and guidance in his life to control it. He's a symbol of what happens if you lose control over a fire at a fuel station. Broly was far.
That's always another thing to remember. Is that Broly is a very interesting character, because even in some video games, it's not canon, of course. I mean, neither is this movie canon. Why I even brought that up? Like, in a game, I don't remember which one was it. I think it was a DS game. Broly actually was good in the two endings. One, he got amnesia. And he was, you know, found by Hercule. And it was kind of like a Boo thing, but with Broly. Broly became good because of Hercule. And the other one is actually, they both went to Earth, Broly and Paragus. And they killed the Z Fighters. I almost said Freedom Fighters. I think that's Sonic Underground. It's a different series. But they went there and they killed them, and then they protected Earth. So like, in a way, like, even Broly as a character, even though people make fun of him, he had like interesting concepts. Like, again, those two like things from the game, again, it's so like interesting, like a what if scenario in a game. It's so cool. And I don't know, I like this. Also, the Japanese videos about Broly, like, when they edit stuff, oh, it's top quality. His chaos is amazing. I love it.
Far from a one-dimensional
Broly's such a good character,
but
in my
I'll go into
opinion.
deep analysis.
Not the best,
While in the transformed
good.
legendary Super Saiyan state, he is the most masculine Dragon Ball character that's ever existed in appearance, far taller and muscly than in his previous form. He wasn't skinny in his first forms, but in the legendary state, he is Dragon Ball's Brock Lesnar, and this made Broly's appearance more unique. He wasn't like a pink genie or a green bug or a sleek white and purple space alien. No, Broly stood on his own and turned the buff villains or joke characters into the real deal. Where most Dragon Ball Z design patterns had villains get smaller in their stronger forms, like Frieza, even Cell, you could argue Kid Buu as well if you watch the anime, Broly goes in the opposite direction. He gets bigger and bigger, more muscles to go with his new strength and speed. And that concept is another reason why some label him a dumb brute. But this is far from the truth. Broly is not stupid, and he goes against the traditional villain appeal.
That's also the thing with the Second Coming. Legit, like, for me, Second Coming did so much damage to Broly as a character. For me, the damage is a bit unrepairable. That's why we have the chaos that it's today. People saying, oh, Broly is just a Kakarot, he's just a brute. And then we have TFS who amplified that to 2000, you know. It was funny, but like... all this kind of ruined the interpretation of Broly, and people can sometimes see past it, which is really annoying in my opinion. Because again, I have a different view of it. Because people say, oh, I consider the Second Coming to be like canon to the first movie, you know. So like right there, like my argument is flawed, alright? While in my view, their argument is flawed because for me, Second Coming shouldn't even begin to exist. Because of the chaos it brought to Broly. But going back to the real topic. Also, if you like Second Coming, is fine, alright? I don't have anything against you if you like Second Coming. I like to each their own. But again, like, the concept of Broly being dumb. Like, in the Second Coming movie, like, it's so apparent that he's like, he's just his Kakarot. That's all he sees. Like, Kakarot, oh, who's that? Trunks? I'll kill him anyway. Like, whatever. It's so dumb. Like, he's losing some brain cells, as I am. I can relate. But like in the first movie, he's smart. He's cunning. He's just, I don't know. He has like a chaotic energy. Like, you just know he's gonna be like doing some shit. Like, it's very hard to explain because it's so like visually and right there. Like, if you can see it, it's like I could show like some examples of his personality because I really like it. Oh man. So that's why when people say like he's a brute, I'm like, only second coming brute, because first Broly movie brute, I can't see it. Like, I really can't see it. Like, he's a brute, yeah, of course he wants to destroy and kill everything, like, wow. But like, he jokes around, he mocks people, he knows he's strong and he shows it to you, like, he's a great character, seriously. I'm sorry. You guys are probably annoyed that I'm always pausing the video.
Goes against the traditional villain appearance formula. Actually going back to basics more than ever. How we envision stronger beings to be, bigger and more menacing. When he grabs you, you know it's all over. And when Goku powered up his Kamehameha
I love this is one of my favorite things on the movie.
That entire scene summed up Broly.
So
he milks the hell out of his design and size to his advantage. And what's scary is he knows it. He doesn't need to be modest. Broly exists in this form to cause as much damage as possible without reason. He doesn't need to give a 2-episode speech why he's doing what he's doing. Screw that. Broly shows you his pain. That's why his presence is horrifying even to this day. The green aura, the greener hair, the sound effects of his energy, it's all fitting for his state. The true Broly, revealing who he truly is deep down.
Really cool, really.
The first movie was so prestigious, and the second one should not associate with it, in my opinion, because it is where the Kakarot meme was born from. The second movie makes him one-dimensional. I'll take the first movie as a standalone. It wasn't until the second movie where Broly became a parody of himself. The dialogue from Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, is actually really impressive as well.
I won't even
disturbing,
say anything I've already said it before.
Now, the backstory and the cries of Goku, this is not as bad as some people say. If you look at the majority of villains and their backstory, think about why their backstory is so great, and more often than not, sometimes their backstory isn't that great at all. We have just been accustomed to their presence on screen, and that's why we remember them. And perhaps Broly should have stayed dead at the end of the first movie, a demon that was overcome by teamwork, trust, and to send the message to Broly that Goku represents a new way of living compared to the Saiyans all those years ago.
I want to show this because it was shown to me. So if you guys can see, there is some, I think like 3-second frame where actually Broly and Goku change hair colors. Literally, Goku hair becomes a shade of green, and Broly's hair becomes yellow. Like, it was pointed out in a tweet, you know, on the thread that I mentioned, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't even notice that. It is so interesting. About like the thing about him dying in the movie, I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that, but I think just ending it there and, you know, not bringing second coming is already good. It's already a good thing to begin with, alright? So I really understand it, and I'm like, I respect that. Just let the first movie be the first movie.
Compared to the Saiyans all those years ago. The destruction-hungry legendary Super Saiyan, falling by the hands of the kind-hearted Saiyan who lived differently, would have been the most fitting, yet sad end for the tormented Broly. But allowed Broly to have that one final rampage after being suppressed for so long. Stay tuned for the next part of this Broly series as we dive into great detail about the relationship between Broly and Goku. It's the part you don't want to miss.
This will be an interesting one, in my opinion. Okay, so that was it about the video. Again, a lot of the things you guys already know because I'm usually, I think, I'm very vocal about like what I think and perceive Broly as. I think I'm very vocal about that, especially like, I think it's more with my close friends rather than online. But I think I saved that thread, by the way, I saved that Broly thread because it's great and it can actually, I think, tie with what the guys are going to talk about the next video. Which is, why does Broly hate Goku? Why is it the function of Broly movie 8? You know, like, this thread is so interesting. Like, I'm gonna read it to you. This is by Kill LaFoe, so if you guys want to follow him on Twitter, feel free to do so. Also, to look at my Twitter page, this is a not safe for work account. I forgot to change it. So I'm just gonna blur it so you guys don't follow me there. I don't want to be, you know, responsible for anything, okay? So, Broly in simple terms is a Saiyan. The same kind of Saiyan Vegeta described himself to be. A child destined with potential from the start, but with a twist. He's been born with the power level of 10,000. Right? Yeah, you guys understood that. Why did I tongue twist? So, instead of being like Vegeta and Nappa, instead of being praised, highly regarded, and treated as a royalty, he is quite literally sent to the disposed of and hated. He was denied his destiny, sort of like another Saiyan, like Goku. Like I said, like they were both like shunned to the side, one for being too strong and one for being too weak. It's like, these plebs, shoo, this thing stronger than me, not in this house, shoo. It's just like, let's just end it there. Oh, bruh. It was awful. So, one thing never changed though. Whether it be due to Broly's Saiyan biology or Paraga's teachings, probably both. I think it's kind of both. One desire remained the same, the desire to be one on top. Yet, even that was taken away from him by his father, mind control device. Yeah, like, this is that he brings an example that Vegeta says, like, it's very similar dialogue. If he likes to show, yeah. So if you guys want to read this, feel free. Again, I'm gonna leave this thread on the description and the comments below if you guys want to see the same as the original video. So where does Goku come into all of this? Goku represents the antithesis of what Broly got in life. Despite being sent away to some measly planet, he got to grow strong. He got to have friends. His potential was never denied. Our Broly's potential was just like tossed to the side. And Goku proves that literally the very second they meet again. But he tries to assert his dominance to the tables over Goku, and Goku stands up to him. He refuses to back down. This is something normal lower class Saiyans do not do. And Goku just decides, yo, no, I don't give a shit if I'm a low class. I'm just gonna stand up for myself. And that's really cool, by the way. And while Vegeta, the Saiyan Prince, realizing that he is so far outclassed, literally gives up immediately because that's what normal Saiyans will do in that situation. Broly is the very embodiment of themes of the Saiyan arc, both told from a different perspective. Again, like, this is, like, when you go deep down, there are so many things that you find is so, like, interesting, and the fact that people just shun this off and just say, oh, Kakarot crying, is just, oh man. Again, is this true? Maybe not, but, like, just the possibility of it being true is so interesting, like, damn, I really like it. Need more evidence? Here comes Paragus with his destiny talk. Oh man. Okay. Could it be Kakarot? Does this mean that Broly's instinct as a Saiyan have been awakened by Kakarot's... I have my phone, I can't read Paragus. I can read what's there, but still, let me just... By Kakarot's power, okay. And he is starting to overcome the limits of my control. Indeed, yeah. But why doesn't he hate Vegeta? This movie would be so much better if he hated Vegeta. He's literally going out of his way to extend Vegeta's torture. He's a bit strong, like, you know, but I'm not gonna say that word, cause monetization either. The Saint Prince is our opponent now. I'm not going to let you die so easily. Finished already? Scum is scum after all. But the thing that Broly sees everyone as the same. Like, everyone is below his legendary status. That's why he doesn't give a crap about Vegeta and hating Vegeta. Like, he hates everyone. Almost somewhat equally. Maybe Goku a little bit because of, like, the connection they have between each other. But, like, he hates everyone. Like, if you're in front of him, he will kill you. So, you know? Okay, fine. What about the baby crying thing? Isn't that dumb? No, because it adds to Goku and Broly's entire... This word. A kid with a power level of 2 is able to piss off a kid with a power level of 10,000. It's unheard of and adds to the relationship in the present. This is like what I also tried to say, but my words did not cut as much as this. That's why I want to show you guys this thread, because it's really interesting. He's just been born and he had his battle powers already 10,000. Burdocks. Burdocks, okay. Son with the bell power of only two made Paraga's son cry. That is so true though. This is the scene that I showed. The whole point of this movie is that Broly represents what Saiyan race used to be 30 years ago. But those days are gone and Goku way of living has to replace it. And this is like the scene that I showed earlier that I told you guys. That did change hair colors. I know it's like, this movie plays a lot with color. I noticed that, it plays a lot with color. But look. It's green! It's yellow! Like... I don't think in this part Broly actually got his yellow hair yet. Because there's a part he powers up. And then his hair becomes yellow. I don't think this was the case yet. But like, you can see the colors. They changed places. Like, little detail. It's so interesting. Again, it's like playing with color. This movie plays a lot with color. So it goes a little bit more. Need more evidence? This is Broly in fear the very same second Goku finally surpassed him. Now he's the one motionless, just like Vegeta, and he tries in vain to reassert himself on top. Precisely. What kind of guy is this? Cause like, what the heck is this? I'm supposed to be the strongest? Who is he? What do you think you're doing? So after this is Second Coming. But I have to agree, this man is dripping. Yeah, Base Broly never looked so good. Am I right? Am I right, Broly fans? Like, we have to agree. He became very attractive in the Second Coming movie. God knows why, but like, he did. So this is what I wanted to show, mainly to get also my point across and to add more into the possible next video of the guy who's going to talk about Broly and Goku's connection and like all revolving around destiny, and like they're like the same but at the same time so very different because even though they started almost equally, they easily got separated. It's really interesting. So this is also my take and my reactions towards the video. I apologize if this was a very long video, but my recording is 30 minutes. I'm gonna try to cut it as much as I can to make it more enjoyable for you guys. If you guys have different thoughts and opinions on Broly, feel free to write in the comments below. I really like seeing other people's like interpretation of Broly, and I know everyone thinks about it differently. I know that I have a very different interpretation of Broly because I see a lot of this type of content, so my view on Broly is very different from probably a lot of people in the community, or maybe not, I don't know, like, show yourself. Show yourself if you think the same way that I do, please show yourself. I summon thee. So that was all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like my content, feel free to subscribe, like the video, comment, and most importantly, ring the bell, because I don't have a schedule, so if you'd like to see my videos and streams, ring the bell is very important, or else you're gonna miss on, you know, my channel. So why even subscribing if you don't ring the bell? Big brain. So that's all for it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Stay tuned, my friends.